going on, everybody? Welcome to another fantastic episode of Comics, Cosplay, and Cinema. Boop, boop. As always, we are your hosts for this evening. I'm here with my man, Foggy Knight.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
It's going great, and I am Lee. And again, we are here today talk about a little bit of a little different episode. We got a couple hot topics.
A hodgepodge, if you will.
A hodgepodge, if you will, indeed. Yeah. So, no, a lot of great things have been happening here in the pop culture comics world. So we're just going to dive into them.
Yeah.
And starting with, as of date of recording, most recently this week, or not too long ago, The Last of Us aired the season finale.
Yep.
We talked about this previously in another episode, how...
We were like 2 episodes in at that point.
Yeah, 2 episodes in, and how fantastic the show was at that point.
We were like, man, I hope it keeps going.
And guess what, guys? It
got better, better, and better.
It did. And as people who really weren't aware, I don't think you were too aware, as you said, of what happened in the game. This was all just gloriousness that I got to soak in without any spoilers. You know what I mean? And it was just, it did not let me down.
Yeah.
And I thought it was fantastic. It was a 9-episode run.
Yeah.
9-episode run. And it was just incredible. It was incredible. Yeah. I thought it ended great. And I really can't wait to see where we go from here. I mean, it's all good stuff, man.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I think the word like a masterpiece or, like, oh, it's the best ever gets thrown around a lot. But like genuinely, this was like one of the greatest shows like ever. Like, I think, you'll look back. This is one of the shows in like 10 years from now. You look back like kind of like Sopranos or Breaking Bad, where you're like, man, that show was just on, and it was wild even from episode 2 to watch the build of it, right? So it started off with a bang, and usually with any show, what I really thought might have been the first time I've really experienced this, I didn't feel like there was a filler episode. No. I didn't feel like there was a single episode where I'm like, it was okay. Every episode I was like, holy crap, that was a good episode. Holy crap, and I'm like, there's no way they're going to be able to keep and it will just get better and better and better and better. And then to stick the landing on it, which is not easy to do. Like, I mean, how many shows have we seen be phenomenal? And then the ending, even though it's a season, not the show, but it's hard to stick that. They stick the landing at the end. I mean, it was just unbelievable. I can't rave enough about the performances, the writers, the directors, the visuals of the world, and just it just took my breath away. I mean, it was nothing I expected.
Right.
And everything I didn't know I needed. It was great.
I will say, I agree with everything you just said. One episode that sticks out to me in particular, I pride myself in always knowing. I feel like I'm a good foreshadower. I know where it's gonna go, what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I know where things are gonna happen.
Yeah.
Or I feel like I know what things are gonna happen before they do. But the second to last episode, I believe it was,
which is my favorite one, by the way.
Yes. With the preacher, or
the
preacher. He was the head of the
David.
Group. I tell you what, my friends. Sorry if this is spoiling it, and I didn't know the game, but that guy lulled me into a false sense of security.
Oh my God.
I was around that campfire with Ellie, having a good time. You know, and I'm just like she was. She had let her defenses down. She was laughing.
I didn't see it coming either.
And then as he told that story about how he sent out parts of people, some people in his group. Yeah. And then a man with a young girl, killed one of them, and the other 2 came back. And as he was telling that story, it started off such a great, and then I was like, my mouth just dropped. Yeah. I was like, oh, snap. You know what I mean? I really thought this was a good guy.
Yeah, me too.
I really thought that he was a good guy. I didn't see or sense any viciousness. I was way off, but that's why I loved it so much, because it had the ability to surprise me. Yeah. Again,
and in a weird way, you can semi-relate to him because you understand the situation he's in.
Right.
Even the cannibalism part.
Right, too easy on that. Hold on a second.
Yeah, but the cannibal part, I mean, they ate a dude, you know what I mean? But it's like, they're all freezing. They're all dead. They don't have food. In his mind, he thinks he is taking care of his people, not knowing that they're all terrified of him because he's a monster. But
yeah, there was also a little out. I mean, that poor girl's eating her father. And has no clue. Yeah, but not only that, but he was doing that. But it was darkness with him. Dude. I mean, he wasn't just doing what he did for the people. He went over there and smacked out of that girl. You know what I mean? It was just that's what.
Yeah, it was just juicy.
So surprising. Yeah. And that's why it just...
And Bella Ramsey in that episode, oh my God, she was amazing as Ellie.
She was fantastic. Now, Ray, you have played the games, unlike Jake and I. So were there enough surprises in this for you, or was it just all straight up, or did they do a good job of someone who's played it? Did they have some twists and turns that maybe you didn't see coming?
I can speak on many people's behalf when I say this, that they stayed so true to the games, but the small and few changes that they did make, they were for the betterment of the story in a whole. So many people agreed, like, wow, I didn't see that coming, but I'm so happy it did happen that way. And I don't know anyone who's upset at the show.
No, and I said that even before when we were talking about it. Granted, it was 2 episodes in. It was the first time I'd ever heard a video game. Usually, even the ones that are successful, the people who play the game are like, "Oh, that's nothing like the show," or like, or the game, or like, there's one side that's like, I wish this got the audience who hadn't played the game, the gamers who played the game, and I've heard the changes they made. Like, funny enough, this was the episode, and this is the biggest episode that they had up to that point. It was probably the most top was the Bill and Frank episode. They're just like, maybe Frank is a Frank that's, you see him a little bit, but like the other ones, just like you just see him hanging. You don't even get a story about him, and they fleshed out this entire story about those two. And what a story it was! I
Beautiful.
Mean, it was.
Yeah, no, it really was. And the fact that they were able to take, like, it was almost like a singular story within the story. Mm-hmm. And yet it's still, you weren't like, oh, where's Joel and Ellie? Like, nope. I was locked in.
They created those characters and expanded upon their story and made it, like you just said, still beautiful. It
really was.
Watch it and see Ron Swanson play such a different but same character.
Yeah.
From Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Different but same. You know what I mean?
Have you seen the YouTube videos of like Ron Swanson preparing for The Last of Us? And it's just like him doing like survivalist things in Parks and Rec, and it's like oh my god, it's so funny. And I tell you what, this is Pedro Pascal's best performance, I think, of anything he's done before. He's so good as Joel. Especially like the episode again, the second to last episode, when he's just been wounded, and when he's trying to find where Ellie is and he's like torturing her, I was like, oh my, like, he is dark, and he doesn't give a F. He is like, I will kill anybody I have to protect this girl. And the evolution of their relationship is so well done, from she's cargo to like when he calls her baby girl for the first time, and then it's like, wow. Well, talk about character development.
What I liked about it too is just the transition between those two characters. I was watching the last episode, and it hit me. And it was,
they flipped.
They did, because she was so chatty in the very beginning, and he was very, just very solemn and kept to himself and very man a few words. But the very last episode, he was just chatting it up. He was so traumatized from everything that had just happened.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, rightfully so. But I just liked the way they had done that from the beginning to the end, just to see that transition of how they had kind of gone from one end to the other, and never met themselves in the middle.
I tell you another episode. I mean, literally, not even kidding. Every episode was stellar, but a highlight was the Henry and Sam episode. And I know as a player of the game, even if you knew what was coming, it probably did not help brace you for having to go through that.
Yeah. And oh man. And the what was funny for my group of friends watching it after, they kept showing that terrifying part again in the next episode. But it was breathtaking and pretty disturbing.
And to make him deaf was, he's not deaf in the game, and but to hear them explain, like, oh, if he's deaf, he's going to be even more reliant on his brother to take care of him, because he's the only one who can communicate. Again, it betterments the story of him needing his brother. That whole story was.
I did not know that, actually. So they did. That was one change that was for the better. Than
he wasn't deaf in the game.
Did they expand on their story more in this show, or did Henry and Sam get a lot of focal point in the game?
Sort of. I mean, they weren't in it for just one episode.
I was just curious, because again, just to see if that was another one like they had told about the couple.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I didn't know if they had really expanded on their story. It probably so, I would imagine, to make it more.
One thing that I thought was cool when the Henry was infected with cordyceps, because they made him deaf. They never actually. He just kind of sat in the room with Ellie that whole night
just quiet.
He couldn't hear anything. Once he was touched, I thought that was
survived, or else he was done.
Yeah, and two, also it's pretty cool. I learned that kid is actually like a really big. He's deaf in real life, and he's a really big youth hockey player. The kid who played Sam.
That's cool.
And like he's like, I want to be like an NHL player, and I've seen him like all over like NHL stuff, and yeah, what a performance that little kid gave.
He did great.
He was real. I mean, he was. I feel like you'll see more of that kid.
Yeah.
And the guy who played Henry, he crushed it.
I thought, yeah, he did too. I actually thought that was one of the cool things is that throughout the series, they brought in characters who, big name characters, or I'm sorry, actors who, you know, I thought would be around for a while, not knowing a lot about the game.
Kind of like Game of Thrones.
Linsky, for instance. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys know who that she is.
She was a douche in the show.
Yeah, she was. She's in that show Yellow Jackets, which is a good show.
Yeah,
if you guys haven't checked out. But you know, they introduced her, and I just thought she would be more of an antagonist. More, you know, I just thought she'd stick around a little bit longer, I guess. But she did a great job, so it was cool to see her playing against type a little bit, playing a villain.
Yeah,
she's usually
a little kid got her.
Yeah.
That's one thing too. You know, going in, even when we talked about it before, was thinking this was going to be a zombie show. Clickers aren't in like half of it, probably more than half. You don't even see an infected. You know, and you find out the story and what really makes special, and we kind of touched on it, but I don't think either one of us realized to the level of it was it's really about the people, and they just kind of like dabble. But then when the infected come, you're like, oh man, this is especially when like the bloater comes in the episode you were referring to.
Yep.
Oh man, like it was
crawling out the pit.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't. There was not even, to your point, there was not one clicker or whatever in that episode we're talking about with the cult.
The last 2 episodes, there were no infected at all.
Yeah, which is wild that they were able to do that and just.
And even when you see like Bella's bite story, you see one like for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like it's not like they're not in that episode. They're not in the Bill and Frank episode.
Yeah, there's a few.
A bunch.
They are in the Bill and Frank episode.
Very quickly though, like they're not really in it.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't think there's one even that shows on the screen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's just clickerless.
Clickerless. Yeah.
If I may, another zombie show that people talk about not having much zombies, but more about the people is The Walking Dead.
Oh,
but
yes.
People kept talking about how much it wasn't about the zombies and how much they didn't like that. But I didn't notice at all that those episodes you mentioned had no zombies in them.
Yeah.
Because it was just so enthralling.
It really was.
And for both of those shows too, really, the true monsters are humans.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Those are the true monsters.
Yeah.
What we become during this apocalypse for both The Walking Dead and The Last of Us. And those are just almost a side.
I'm glad you said that. I think, and it goes down to good writing, and we talk about writing in like every episode with anything we talk about. When they do show lighthearted stuff, it means so much more, and it really hits you because of how like people are monsters. So when you see like the Bill and Frank episode, and you see like these moments, you're like, oh man, like it just hits you so much harder. I mean, just I touched on it again. If you haven't seen the miniseries Chernobyl on HBO, it's the guy who wrote The Last of Us. It is spectacular. And as soon as I thought he was the guy writing it, I was like, this show's going to be brilliant. Yeah. And sure enough, and I love that, like the guy who plays Tommy in, I'm sorry, what was the character's name? Monica?
Marlena.
Marlena. Yeah. Oh, no.
Marlene?
The girl who got with the bloater episode. She was
Monica
Linsky. Yeah. The guy that had the beard. That was like her main soldier. Yeah. He's Tommy in The Last of Us, the voice.
Oh, okay.
And then Troy Baker, who's Joel, is in the David episode.
I was gonna. You still about that girl. I was gonna say that too.
I love that they're using these characters. Yeah. Oh, and the girl who's Ellie.
She played Marlena.
But the girl who's Ellie's mom is Ellie in The Last of Us.
Ashley.
Yeah.
Johnson.
She was the voice of Ellie, and now she's Ellie's mom.
So that's cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I did know that the guy who played Joel was the
Troy.
Right hand.
It's awesome.
Of the.
He talks about walk around set with his cleaver in his neck all day, and he's a great guy. Like he's really, really cool.
But Marlena, actually, the actress from Marlena played the actual character in Marlena also, right?
I love that they're doing that though.
They took that and brought her over. It's really cool. Yeah, because because they could just ignore them. It's really cool that they're giving that olive branch out to them and saying, "Hey, we know without you guys even doing the job you did in this game, it wouldn't be here." You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think they let the game writer, he wrote some of the episodes as well, which is really cool. I think that was, and another thing is the sets, like the mall and
oh, fantastic!
What a set! I was like, that is, and you could tell it was real. It's just like, man. I mean, there's literally not a single weak spot of that entire show.
No.
I just cannot wait for. I was like, 2 years or whatever it's going to be. I mean, that's the only gripe is we got to wait. It's spectacular.
What I liked about the finale too is that they gave us. I think that's the whole end adventure or mission. They kind of did that, right? When he was going through the hospital, like he did. And Quinn and I were watching, and I was like, so Quinn, that's the exact adventure or the mission that you have to do to go back and save.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool. They did it like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With him going through, it was almost like watching the game play.
It's wild.
In a way. I will say that dude is just a badass. The fact that I was like, he took out everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, he just went through and
that was awesome.
Out everyone.
Don't piss off the Mandalorian.
I know, right? I know.
If we can get a scene of him like that as Mando, that would also be great. Like
Joel versus Mando.
Yeah. Also, what a couple. I know we touched on it. We're like, I wonder if they'll overlap. What a couple weeks he had there for Wednesday and Friday.
Yep.
We're just in Pedro's world. We really are.
Really good for him. It was.
Is it one of the best shows you've ever seen?
I don't know if I can say that it's one of the best shows I've ever seen. I will say that I enjoyed every episode. And to your point earlier about how that it's, there was no episode.
No fillers.
It was like a chore, you know? Every episode had me on the edge of my seat. And credit to them because I cared about the characters that were just even introduced in the very beginning of the show.
Same.
But I don't know if I'll say it was one of the best episodes or one of the best series, but I've enjoyed it immensely, man. What is it for you?
Yeah, I think it is. It's definitely one of the best first seasons I've ever seen because I think, part of it's the longevity of it. You know what I mean? So it's hard to, but as far as just coming out the gate with your, no, I got no complaint. I mean, it was spectacular.
I will agree with you on that. I can't say it's the best show I've ever seen, but I will say it's probably one of the, if we're
just first season
wise. Because a lot of the times for shows, you got to find the footing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're trying to find
it's a slow build,
stuff like that. And then maybe by then season 2 is usually, for most shows, season 2 is where it really kicks into high gear and it's like, wow.
This is like, nope.
This one started firing off on all cylinders. So I would definitely say one of the best first seasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm 100%.
What I'm excited about, and I'm curious to ask you too, I've heard that Last of Us 2 is actually better than Last of Us 1, which is where we're going to pick up on the next season.
How many years go by between? Or you don't have to be precise.
In the show or like
the game in the game.
In game or between the game?
Between 1 and 2.
Oh,
you don't need to be precise. I'm just curious.
It's not that long. I think maybe 3-4 years.
Oh, okay. So they'll still be able to.
And they did say they're splitting it up. So it's not just like one. Now they're doing like multiple seasons. We'll all be covering Last of Us 2. It's not just going to be all crammed into one season.
Oh, okay. Well,
or at least
you
2.
Have to because, or else then you're creating your own stuff after that. Because only 2 games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then after that, maybe the shelf life, would be good. I have to say, I am not a fan of when a show
gets ahead.
Not even gets ahead, but a lot of the times they'll just keep a show going because it's a hit.
Yeah.
Even though their idea for that story might have been a 3-season story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Like it's okay to wrap it.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because the network's like, no, this is
money.
Making some money. So, and then that's when you see the story just suffer. So it would be fine if as opposed to trying to, continue on after Last of Us 2 and creating its own stuff. We saw what happened with Game of Thrones.
I was going to say Game of Thrones scarred me with that. When it got ahead of the writing.
And then that's when they started getting the skew of everything and it was just like not quite as hot. I'm okay with having an unlimited shelf life with that.
Yeah. I tell you what, HBO Max between House of Dragon and Last of Us back to back, they are killing it. Woohoo! Yeah,
they are 100%.
But great show. Can't wait for more.
I know, and I just have to say this too before we transition into our next subject. I guess we could just keep on. You talked about Pedro Pascal having a fantastic, first quarter here in Hollywood. You got to also go to Jonathan Majors.
Oh yeah, big time. Those are the two. Yeah, Hollywood. They're everywhere,
dude. What he accomplished. Say what you want about Ant-Man. But the fact that when Creed 2 came out, Creed 3, came out, and having the number 1 and number 2 film, how many people have done that before?
Not a lot.
2 people.
That's crazy.
Leonardo DiCaprio for Titanic.
Yeah.
And then The Man in the Iron Mask came out.
Yeah.
So those were the two. And now, like, what is the actress's name? Jessica Chastain.
Okay.
She's
amazing, by the way.
I can't remember the other movie, but she's done it also. Zero Dark 30 and whatever other movie came out then.
Gotcha.
Those were the number 1 and 2 films. So
Yeah.
he's the third person to ever do this.
I'm gonna
in
put
history.
he's better in Creed than he is even as Kang. He's amazing in Creed.
Yeah.
He was so good. And I'm so sad he's on Marvel because I want him as Jon Stewart so bad. It's not even funny. Like, I'm so sad he's with Marvel right now.
You know?
He'd be so good.
He would be, man.
He'd be so good. I've seen actually, I don't know if you've seen, there's like on Instagram, like Boss Logic took the poster of Creed 3 and put the Val Zod costume on Michael B. Jordan and the Green Lantern on. And I'm like, don't do that to me, man. He looks so good in the yeah.
I know.
But no, those two, it's like it's like Pedro's got the TV and Jonathan's on the they're both amazing.
Yeah, but I did think that was an interesting thing that really only 3 actors hold that.
That's amazing.
Hold that.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. Also, I guess we'll jump into our next subject that's really kind of dominating the current headlines right now. Shazam just opened up, and right now what's going on is this epic battle between Black Adam and Shazam.
Not in the way we want.
I know, not the way that we ever would have thought that would ever happen.
Yeah.
No, behind the scenes, not in theaters, what we all wanted to see, but behind the scenes, man, who knew that this epic battle was happening? And it all comes down to Dwayne Johnson, who we're fans of.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? We're fans of. But I mean, it does hurt a little bit to see what he tried to do in DC. For all of you guys who don't know, a lot of stuff has come out now where we all know, and he's been hyping Black Adam for years. And Black Adam came out in the fall and came and went. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't live up to the
hype.
It
fell short, yeah.
It fell short of the money that they were trying to achieve and all of that. And then to come to find out, he was trying to really
restructure everything
and make him the center of the DC universe. And for all those who may not be too familiar with DC, it's almost like Venom. Somebody having the idea of making Venom the center of the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And creating all the story focus being on him and growing it from there. And in doing so, he really has fractured a couple different franchises.
Yeah.
Black Adam and Shazam. You know what I mean? Because he was putting his foot down. He didn't want anything to do with Shazam. He stopped characters from crossing over.
Did Justice League Society.
From the Justice Society, characters from the Justice Society crossing over into Shazam. I mean, I can understand him not wanting to be part of that, but to stop other characters also, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From being a part of this and it's
a bad look.
It is a bad look, man.
Yeah.
It is a bad look. And Shazam just came out, and it looks like it's going to be a huge.
Oh, it's not even look like it's a massive flop.
$30 million over the weekend. Let's say it drops 50%.
It's like the second lowest, or third lowest superhero opening.
Yeah.
The only thing it's made more is Super Pets, and it by like $2 million, and then the Suicide Squad by like $1 million. But that movie came out in the middle of the pandemic and also came out on HBO Max for free the very same day, and it still only was like by $1 million.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at it this way, most films drop maybe at least 50% on the second weekend.
Yeah.
So Shazam, $30 million. Let's say the second weekend, I'm guessing 15. That's being hopeful.
Oh yeah.
It's only going to drop 50%.
Yeah.
Maybe the word of mouth will get out there, but I think the word of mouth is so negative right now, just in social media and everything about all the behind the scenes drama.
Yeah.
It's not going to help things at all. So we're looking at probably this movie topping out at,
maybe under 100.
Oh, domestically.
Yeah.
Definitely under.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. I would. It's hard pressed to make $70 million in domestic.
I agree.
They've already announced it coming out on the digital release has already been announced, so they know. And what's sad is David Sandberg, the director,
he's out.
You know, I mean, he even put out a statement. He said, I saw where this was going months ago.
Yep.
You know, now I will say, the Dwayne Johnson thing, because it's almost like being the Joker being denied from Batman movies.
Yes.
You know, because Black Adam is the most well-known nemesis of Shazam.
It's almost like taking the Joker and being like, oh, we're going to try and make him a Wonder Woman villain now. It's like,
yeah.
No, I mean, granted, he does fight Superman but
he's not as
with Shazam, you know, it's like he is Shazam's villain, you know, and I think The unfortunate thing, and I understand he's the biggest movie star in the world, but I've said this before, the character always comes before the actor. I don't care who you are, how big you are, whatever. If you wanted to be the big bad, you shouldn't have been Black Adam, because he is Shazam's villain, and I understand if he didn't want to make a cameo, and like that's fine, but don't try and structure this whole universe around you and fracturing in some of what he did. I truly believe his intent was good, like trying to bring Henry back, for example.
Yeah,
I get it. It ended up fracturing everything even more, and I think a lot of it, there's a lot more that went into Shazam failing than just The Rock.
Agreed. We'll get into it.
But it's so unfortunate because I watched Shazam too. It's a good movie, it's not like winning Oscars. It's not The Dark Knight or anything like that. But I mean, this is a movie that deserves to make 56. I think the first one made like 54 million its opening weekend.
It did, yes.
It's worthy of around that. You know what I mean? If Ant-Man can make 100+ million, this damn sure deserves to, make like 50, or less, or like around what like Love and Thunder did. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's really sad to see. I do feel very confident we're not going to see him in the DCU. Not now.
Maybe because it's Zachary.
Yeah,
has a great relationship with Peter Safran. I don't think we'll be. I
don't think it'll be a Shazam film. No, he might be in it. Yeah,
more than
yeah. I agree with that. He might appear, but he ain't getting his own movie anymore.
Yes. And go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, and that's unfortunate because I think he did a great job. I think the film was, was fine. It's just sad I feel bad for him and the director.
I agree, but I have to say I enjoyed the film.
It's not as good as the first one.
Right. A couple things that I think you just said, so I want to expand on that, right? That Dwayne Johnson's not the only reason this movie failed. I think that he definitely helped it fail.
Oh yeah,
by not allowing certain things to happen.
Yeah.
Now, I like Zachary Levi, right?
Yeah.
I liked Chuck. He was in the show called Chuck.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Great in Thor.
He's just a fan of, yeah. He was in Thor, right?
Yeah.
Thor 1 and 2. And he's a fan of the genre.
Yeah.
So he just seems like a cool guy.
Yeah.
I've read Shazam.
It's not. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I know what you're gonna say, and I agree.
He made him a kind of a bumbling fool. He portrayed him that way.
Yeah.
And the juxtaposition between him and Billy Batson didn't make a lot of sense because whenever he was Billy, he didn't act like a big oaf.
Right.
You know what I mean? He didn't.
Yeah.
So when he turned into Shazam, who was supposed to have the wisdom of Solomon,
that was the wisdom, and they even touch on it.
They do. They said maybe Mary got more of that, but he didn't portray that. He didn't come across. They were two different characters
until the very, very end, to some degree.
Yeah, and I also think where they did wrong is here. I grew up knowing the Shazam family. Shazam at one point, which I do got to give a shout out. I like the fact that he was known for Captain Marvel for years, as Captain Marvel for years, right? Until recently, and then they changed it for New 52 and said, well, people know him as Shazam, we're going to name him Shazam. But in the movie, they got that little, they called him Captain. They were like Captain Marvel, so. And also, I don't know if you realized it or not,
the original guy,
guy who played Billy Batson in the old 70s Saturday
in his little red and yellow shirt.
He had the red and yellow shirt because that's how Billy was always portrayed in the comics at one point, wearing that attire.
That was cool.
So it was cool to see that, and again, to get the shout out of the old Captain Marvel name. But the Shazam family, as I knew it, was Shazam, Captain Marvel, Mary Marvel, and then Freddy. They called him Captain Marvel Jr. In the film. You know what I mean? Or in the comics. But now they kind of have a problem with the name since they don't call him Captain Marvel anymore, and they make light of that in the film. Nobody really has a name. You know what I mean? They don't know what their name is.
What's my name?
But I think
that makes sense.
Yeah. And then they created these other three characters, I think, during New 52. The Darla and the other two guys that were in there, the other three that they chose the power with. I think it was too big of an ensemble.
Yeah.
I think that we really should have, if you're going to bring the Captain Marvel family in, the Shazam family in, just have it Mary, Billy, and Freddy, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Can I say something about Mary? That is one of the most beautiful. Can I get her as Wonder Woman in the next DC? Would she not? She'd be amazing as Wonder Woman.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Not to post what's coming, I'm sure, at some point today.
No, she's a very attractive lady. That's 100%.
Yes. She would be a great Wonder Woman.
She would be.
And I was enjoying the view. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways.
Yes. So I think, focus on that because the other three characters really didn't get much character development anyway.
No.
So, in my opinion,
They're almost like comic relief.
They were, and when it didn't work, my daughter's favorite character was Darla. The little guy.
The kitten
the little
scene?
girl, who grew up into the youngest girl.
Yeah.
And also I think what happened too for this is these characters, these villains were they were created for the movie.
Yeah.
They're not.
I didn't know anything about them.
They're not based on any comic book character.
No.
You know what I mean? They created them.
Well, that's what happens when your only really true villain won't show up.
Yeah,
I
know. So that was another thing though that I think hurt because most people there's fandoms of villains as well. You know what I mean? So these are people nobody knows about.
Yeah, and quite frankly, a lot of people don't know about Shazam that much either.
They don't,
so you're double dipping in. I don't really know what this is.
Exactly.
You're not going to get this. And then one thing I'll touch on is the marketing was terrible. It was
non-existent.
It was terrible. And then you put a huge spoiler of the movie at the I feel like that to me. I felt like it was they saw the tracking numbers and was like, oh crap, we gotta do something real quick. But then it ruined it's like that didn't help you that much. With Wonder Woman.
Oh, they were desperate, dude.
Oh yeah.
They were very desperate to be able to at that point in time. They didn't show in that one until the week
literally the week before. Yeah.
Before it came out.
It was like Justice League with Superman.
Yeah, I like that. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It was. And so they just had so many things that and the final nail in their coffin was the fact that they've announced all of this stuff that we're seeing this year is really not we're not continuing on with it. So that was another thing, right? I think if that hadn't happened yet and maybe it came out in December before all of this new James Gunn stuff happened, I really think that they probably would have gotten better.
Yeah, I don't know how much it would have helped, but it definitely wouldn't have made it worse. That's for sure.
People knew there was no continuation, so it was a dead end going to see these characters.
The last thing, and I hate saying this but it's very true, and it's really getting to the point now, it's really sad, and Zachary Levi's touched on it too, is you've gotten like this weird group of like Zack Snyder fans of his vision, and again, I was like an influencer for Zack Snyder. I love Zack Snyder. I've met Zack Snyder. He's amazing.
It's not him.
But like these horrible people that if it's not Ben Affleck Batman, Henry, it's like everything else sucks, and they'll like without even seeing the movie just trash a project because it's not, which is weird because it's like, well, that character wasn't Zack Snyder's universe technically, so you really just making it worse. But it's gotten so toxic at this point, like it's horrible. Like it's almost like shameful to be a fan of those movies now because it's like some people have gotten a pretty big amount of people have been just really, really twisted and like like Zach Levi on social media. Like he's been going just because it's not,
it's both of them have actually come out and said,
and it's sad
on social media, at least the director Goldberg, and then Zachary, as you said, stated that's one of the reasons. Well, the director straight up said, "I'm going back and doing horror movies."
Yeah, I don't blame him.
He did Annabelle.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, he did.
I really
Annabelle
don't.
Creation. He was a horror director, and then he did Lights Out, which are great horror movies, by the way.
Yep.
And made his leap over to the Shazam and stuff. And he said, "I'm going back to the horror films." He was like, and he stated, as you said, these fans are just toxic.
It's horrible
all over, and I can't wait to not be. He said, let me be clear. I enjoyed every minute of making these movies, and I'm glad I did them. But I'm glad I don't have to deal with the fans anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's to the point you just got to move on.
It's
like
crazy.
it's gotten horrible, and it's like, it's just so many things. Like Ben Affleck ain't coming back. He doesn't want to come back. Henry, he might have they're gonna be fine. Like eventually, just like Val Kilmer and Christian Bale, like the show goes on, like it's gonna be okay, like, and it's okay. Like even in I'll say in cosplay, like if you don't cosplay for, you get crap for not being a certain version of. It's like, what?
That's wild.
Like, this is crazy, right? I am very curious about the Flash after Shazam because, and I think it's another note we'll touch on. I don't know if you saw Tom Cruise asked to see.
Yes.
By the way, that man is so awesome. Yeah. Like, I wish I could just hang with him for one day. Asked to see the movie with Warner for whether they sent him a copy and whatever. And he's like glowing about it.
Yes.
And everybody who's seen it, I mean, the response hasn't just been like, it's good. It's been like, this is like legendary good.
Well, Tom said specifically, I am quoting Tom because he sent me this message. No, he said,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he said, Lee,
good old
this
TC
movie is
on
fantastic. He was like, this is going to be the movie that saves theaters.
Yeah.
All that is true except for the Lee part. He didn't quote it to me. But no, he said this will be the movie that helps save theaters. You know what I mean? That gets people back to the theater at least.
Other than my own film.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But no, so yeah, so I think, well, begs the question. There's 3 more that come out. 3 more films that come out, right? Flash, Blue Beetle, and then Aquaman. So it's almost like because of... I actually am a little worried about DC right now. I love those characters, but there's no question. I love DC characters more than Marvel characters. No question Marvel's been crushing DC in movies, though, right? I am worried they've had 2 somewhat whiffs back-to-back. Black Adam.
Oh, ain't no kind of whiffs. Yeah, they whiff.
Shazam's a huge whiff. And then Flash will be probably pretty redeeming, I think. I do think.
I think it's going to do. I think the word of mouth's going to be.
Because people actually know that this will be the movie that actually creates the new universe. So there's interest with that as well. Yeah. And
more importantly, the buzz is going to go, this is really good.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
And I think also because of the cameos, that this is a lot of excitement behind it.
Yeah.
All right. That one I'm feeling pretty secure about.
Yeah.
I got Blue Beetle, and then you got Aquaman coming out. I think those 2 are huge question marks.
Blue Beetle's a huge question mark. Yeah.
You know?
Blue Beetle, I don't know. Aquaman's not going to do well. I can tell you right now.
Because that's that leftover from the gun.
And I've heard it's just playing out not good.
It's been getting terrible word of mouth.
Terrible hype. See, that's the big thing, too. And I'm going to go back real quick to the last dagger for Shazam. And we talked about this before. DC and Marvel need each other to do well. Yes. Like, people think it's a competition. It's really not, because you're picking up momentum off of the one before. So you had Black Adam, which was disappointing. Ant-Man Quantumania was very disappointing. Yep. Black Panther 2 was divisive.
Yeah.
We haven't had a good comic book movie since The Batman. That came out in March of last year. So you have like this negative snowball effect. And Shazam's just the latest snowball, whereas, if the Flash is great, just say Flash is great. Marvel puts out, the Marvels are great. Blue Beetle's great. Guardians is going to be like, it's an upward trajectory. And that has a lot to do as well with the next thing coming, Marvel or DC, because again, a lot of people don't even know the difference really. I mean, some people do, but the average movie, they don't give a crap about who the logo is. They want a good movie, at the end of the day. So the fact that we have kind of had a bad run as well definitely didn't help.
Which is now going and bringing up the dreaded word, comic fatigue, right? Comic movie fatigue. And rightfully so, people are questioning that.
Yeah.
It's always been, when will that happen? Because we've had, a good 13-year run now or so?
Longer than that. Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, Dark Knight was 2008.
Well, Dark Knight, yeah, I'm counting those, but really, it really kicked into gear, though, I'm saying, with the first Iron Man, which was 2008 also.
Yeah, 2008.
Yeah, so 2008, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like 15 years.
Yep, yeah, so 15 years.
It feels like so much longer now.
I know, right? so we've had that running and rocking and rolling. And at one point, the Westerns, I'm only using this as an analogy.
Yep, no, I know where you're going.
Were huge. That's where people were making them all the time in the 60s, 70s, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then they came to a point where they were oversaturated with Westerns. I mean, Westerns dominated theaters.
Yeah.
And then Westerns still to this day aren't really made. You know what I mean? 1 or 2 that come out here or there. Yeah. They're not really made. And so people have used that as an analogy to the comic book movie.
Yeah.
That's been dominating theaters for 15 years now.
Yeah.
And I don't want the fatigue to set in.
No.
I'm loving it. But I think part of it, I feel like, is that as much as they've done a good job, Marvel has done a great job of creating these stories from these B-list and C-list characters, there's still those characters out there that put people into the seats.
Yeah.
And we haven't had the Supermans. We haven't had the Batmans. Great, we've had Batman, the Wonder Woman, those A-list characters that are out there. Even with Marvel now, they've kind of gone away from them and trying to ride these B-list characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you? What I'm saying?
No, it does. I think that's where I'm torn between, is it fatigue or has it been bad writing? Because there's been some, but to your point, there's a lot of reaching for characters that I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if that's a movie you should pull from, because you do have movies like The Batman and you do have Spider-Man No Way Home where everybody's in it. So it's there. You know what I mean? It's just like even a movie like Joker, $1 billion, but the movies haven't been good.
No, they haven't been. So
you know,
but
it could be. But if you keep making bad films,
they'll expedite
it's gonna
to the point to where they will have that comic book expiration date. You know, to where it will kill it.
Yeah, and it's gonna touch on the point where I think there's gonna if it continues, I think Marvel's gonna have to have a real discussion of like bringing Cap back, and I'm not talking like Steve Rogers back, bringing Tony Stark. You gotta start bringing back your characters. You know what I mean?
I agree. But the one thing that Marvel does have, and I've mentioned this before, is that they've got their back pocket, and I know you feel differently about them, but Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah, no.
And the X-Men.
I think X-Men's the big one.
You know, X-Men's the big one. But I do think Fantastic Four integrated right, but then they're running up against the problem that we won't get to see these characters ever all interact together. You know what I mean? The X-Men, Wolverine, and Captain America. Not Sam Wilson, even though it's great.
Yeah.
But
Steve.
seeing Logan and Steve Rogers on missions together, they're a fantastic combo.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? To lose
I just watched the episode of X-Men the animated series where he's in Germany.
Yeah.
And Cap's there, and it's like Red Skull against Wolverine and it's awesome.
Yeah, you know.
And I'm like, I'll never see that.
I know. So I think that's the problem for that Marvel does have.
Yeah.
Able to combine those characters.
Yeah. I think also in watching Mr. Sinister should be a big bad of Marvel at some point. Yes. He's so awesome.
Well, I did
he's
see
a
that. I think he's the, X-Men 97 is coming out this summer. Yeah. I think he is the main villain.
He should be. He's awesome.
I think that's the case on that one.
Him and Omega Red, those are the two. They're like, dude, that's so cool. I don't see it as much with Fantastic Four. Although I hope I'm wrong. I hope it does great. I don't think, for example, I think Guardians will make more than Fantastic Four will when it comes out. Right. I think Fantastic Four will be like a $600 million movie, not $1 billion movie, unless it's really, really good.
Right.
And that's the caveat. If it's really, really good, then that solves anything. But X-Men, I think, is their back. The thing with DC is bringing back Superman. It's going to come down to Superman Legacy. It really is. Everything's going to come down on that. The Batman 2, I think, will do great. Anything with Batman, I think, is going to be fine. Just like Spider-Man. Like, even if it sucks, people are going to go see it because it's at least Batman or Spider-Man. But we're in a very interesting situation right now,
and it's enough to where Disney's actually been like, okay, maybe we are oversaturating.
Oh yeah,
and they're reorganizing their whole Disney Plus.
Well, now that Bob Iger's back, schedule. Yeah.
At one point we were stated to have Echo and Loki and X-Men 97 and I'm
so many.
Not remembering so many that to come out, and
they scrapped.
So we're already here. I don't know if they scrapped it. They pushed them back. I think Agatha and all this stuff was going to come out. And we're already 3 months into the year. There's been no release dates for any of them except for maybe Loki. And so I feel like a lot of that's going to be pushed.
And Daredevil's filming right now.
Echo might be the one that they do push because I think that needs to be told before Daredevil. So they'll need to kind of have that out. You know what I mean? They can't really hold that one too long.
Yeah. I do think Daredevil will be a pretty, if it's good, I think it'll get a good audience.
Speaking of that, I mean, we got to give a shout out that they did bring old John Barenthal back.
Yeah.
As Punisher.
And Vincent as
but they announced that, but that's more recent.
I meet both of them on Saturday. I'm really excited.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
See, there you go, guys. If you guys are going to be there at the
GalaxyCon Richmond, they'll both be there. So
very cool.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. So I just don't know. I do hope the comic book saturation period is just all talk right now. I don't want it to see it happen.
I tell you, the big one, the big thing for me is I think in DC and Marvel, for the first time, especially for both of them, we're getting divided fan bases within them. People, we want this, and then another group wants this, and like people are starting to get pissed about what they're getting, and people. A lot of times, everybody does this. They go into a movie, especially these comic book movies, expecting one thing already before they see it. And then regardless of what else it is, it's not their vision of it. So then they're pissed about it. And it's like, I miss being able to just go in and just have fun.
I know.
And I think it does, the outlook does change the experience.
Yep.
And I think genuinely, like if you just go in a movie like, I'm just going to accept this for what it is. I'm not expecting the greatest. And I did that with Shazam. I did it for Thor, Love and Thunder. Just like, I'm gonna have fun. I'm just gonna sit here, even if I don't, agree with everything. Just it is what it is, But a lot of people are very hostile, and it divides the fan base, and it'll impact the box office.
It has, yes, and it's been proven,
Yeah.
And they've recently announced too was it Bob Iger who said, "Do we really need part 4s for films?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he did.
At one point, I think Ant-Man was on one point looked at as having a part 4. I don't think we'll ever see Ant-Man again. I mean, we'll see him, but it'll be part of an ensemble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It won't be
not a solo story.
We won't get a solo story with it.
Yeah, he's like, there's a lot of new characters. You can introduce new stories, not just continue the same. And I think yes and no, but I think knowing which characters to give a fourth, if it's Superman, you can tell as many freaking stories especially if they're good.
Right.
If you're doing, I don't know, Plastic Man or Polka Dot Man, maybe 2 or 3. Not everything has to be a franchise within a franchise.
Right. I agree.
And that's why I think you and me are both excited about, and we were explaining the Elseworld stories.
Yes.
You can tell one-off stories that don't have to have all this. Just tell a good story, man. Just
connective tissue.
Tell a good movie, man.
Yeah, tell a good story, tell a good movie.
Because that's all it is. It's all storytelling, and that's the key to everything. And that's, to me, more than anything, that's been the biggest hindrance I've noticed since outside of the Batman is just the scripts. I mean, they're just not the same caliber movie from both DC and Marvel. This is not. The quality is just not there compared to what it was.
It hasn't been.
And I generally, the hard part is you can't really point to one. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but the only thing I can tell is the stories just aren't the same. It's not resonating the same.
The true tale, I think, will be this summer with Guardians and Flash.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those are two huge movies.
They both come out with some missteps. They falter. They don't hit that money mark.
Yeah.
Then that's the true death knell. Or not a death knell, but at least
a telling tale.
Yeah, a telling tale to say, okay,
because that's the thing, right? We haven't had a movie that critics love, audiences love, and suffers at the box office. If it's getting both well received from both sides and still people don't go see it, that's when it's like, uh-oh. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We've had this weird mixture of, like, even Shazam, I think the critic rating is like 50, but the audience rating is like 89, 88. And it is the same for Ant-Man. It was like 30 something and 80 something. It's like, where's the disconnect here? But if you get something across the board that everybody likes, usually that means people are going to go see it, because the word of mouth still is huge.
Right.
The other last thing, I'd be curious, do you think marketing, some of the marketing lately has been terrible for films?
Well, that's why.
Or giving away too much,
Well,
or not enough.
Not enough, yeah. Well, we spoke about this earlier for Shazam. I think marketing definitely hurt them.
Yeah.
They didn't seem to really even have a lot of faith in that at all. It was like you got one trailer back in the summertime with Comic-Con, and then they maybe showed the same trailer or variation of it. Well, it wasn't like a lot of like.
What Zach said too is Shazam is for families.
Yeah.
Use the family aspect to pull this is a movie I can take my kids to and have fun. The trailers didn't really show that. You know what I mean? Like, this is fun. This is funny. Like the first one was. The trailer for the first one was great.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like, okay, let's do this first trailer where nobody says anything. So it's just like, okay, cool. But the second trailer usually tell the story of what, grab your audience, but don't spoil all the big things that,
There was only one trailer for Shazam.
I know.
The same one.
And then there was TV spots other than that. Yeah.
Right, but I'm saying the same the Comic-Con was the same one. They didn't even really do it that I saw a variation of it at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was like, and that's why I think they'll save their marketing dollars for Flash. The Blue Beetle trailer is supposed to drop soon.
I did see today they dropped. It's going to be soon.
Yeah, so that'll be a telling tale. Then Blue Beetle does have the ability to move on. It's so fun.
I'm excited for that. I hope that one's good. I really do, because I think, and we talked about with Booster Gold, I want to see that keep moving forward.
Guys, by the way, on our last episode, Booster Gold was obviously a huge hit. You guys seem to love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was a lot of people that were commenting on it.
Speaking of that, I think it's fun. Comment below who you think should be cast as Booster. Who would you like to see as Booster Gold? And would you like to see him with Blue Beetle? Let us know.
Yes, and I'm going to really intricate. Would you like to see what Blue Beetle do you want to see him with?
People are going to be like, are there more than one?
I know, right? Oh, we'll have to dive deeper into the Blue Beetle lore then.
Yeah.
But I think people out there know the Ted Cord Blue Beetle and was it Jorge? No, the new.
I'm just kidding, yeah.
Yeah, okay. The new Blue Beetle. But yeah, played by the Karate Kid.
His suit is sick, by the way. It's like one of the coolest looking
It does look good.
Yeah. The last. Oh, I got to ask you before we hop off here. Your boy Tim Drake's Robin suit got debuted in Titans. The art. What do you think? Because I know Tim Drake's. It looks great, doesn't it?
It looks really good, man. Yeah. Since we've talked about DC last, Titans has been announced that it is not
last season. Coming.
This is last season, so we got 6 episodes.
You get your boy Timmy.
I know we get Tim. I will say it's comic accurate.
Yep.
It looks fantastic. That's one thing I think that they have done well.
Our costumes have been great.
Is the costumes. Nightwing's I think looks fantastic. Yeah. His original Robin costume.
Oh, it's so good.
Great.
Yeah.
What's his name's
Jason Todd's, and they're all a little different too.
They are. There's a little variation on it. I love how the cape for Tim Drake
spikes a little bit.
Or it's more of like a pattern after the Red Robin cape a little bit.
Yeah.
That he became later on. But no, it looks awesome, man. That just
enjoy your moment of Timmy.
I know, right? Yeah, because I don't think we'll see Tim Drake. Like I said before, he's my favorite one. But the stories that they could tell with the others, obviously Dick Grayson and Jason Todd and Damian, I see why they would probably exclude Tim. You know what I mean? The other ones have interesting stories in the comic lore that they could really pull from and tell when they make the movie.
Or at least they're making moves. Sorry, I keep adding these things. Keep popping in my head. Ron Perlman for Frankenstein, dude. For Creature Commandos. Yes. We have our first official casting of the James Gunn universe.
Yep,
and it's perfection.
Did they already come out and say 100%? But it's pretty obvious, right?
It's pretty,
and then Frank Grillo too. Has been.
Oh, is he?
They both, I don't know what character he's playing, but they've both attended the premiere of Shazam. Ron Perlman and Frank Grillo. So Frank Grillo was who did he play in the Avengers? Crossbones. He played Crossbones in
right. Yep.
films. So he was a crossover from that.
Oh, you think he's Rick Flag Sr.?
That's what the rumor is that he is Rick Flag Sr. and that Frankenstein is
Ron Perlman.
Is Ron Perlman.
God, that would be
and so those are great, and I can see them carrying them both over into the live action from the animated stuff.
That's gonna be great.
Yeah, all good stuff. So that's a fantastic casting.
And Sean Gunn will be Weasel.
Yep, and Sean Gunn as Weasel.
Yep, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, man. But guys, again, I just can't comment enough about how fantastic you all have been. Again, we appreciate all of the comments on the YouTube and all of our social media pages. Thank you so much. Keep commenting. Let us know what you want to see on some upcoming episodes, you know. I also got to give it up to our sponsor, Nomadic State of Mind. Take a look around this set. They've got some fantastic shoes, this bag, lots of great things. Hit their website up. Get ready for the summer. Get that attire. Yeah. Jake, have we said it all, man?
I think so. Yeah, this was fun. Yeah, appreciate it. Definitely check out nomadicstateofmind.com. If you want to see and you have any questions, if you have a topic you would like to see us go over, please hit that comment button. Let us know what you think, and we'll get it done.
Indeed, guys. Thanks again for joining us. We appreciate it.
See you guys
later.